Hey everybody, this is David Corsaro and it is time to be awesome. I'm here right now with Eric DeCamps and we're going to talk a little bit about some of Eric's upcoming show in New York City called Pure Magic. Eric, thanks for hanging out.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Eric, can you talk a little bit about some of your early influences in magic? Who are the people that really sort of inspired you to do what it is that you do?
Well, I've had several influences. I mean, in books I've had Slidini, Guy Vernon, Charlie Miller, Albert Goshman, and in real life, mentors I've had Renee Lavon and Bob White. I've been very good friends and very influential in my magic. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about, because you're one of the, you do the breadcrumbs, Renee's breadcrumb routine absolutely beautifully. And can you just tell the quick story, I've heard this before, about how you got to do that for Renee the first time?
Well, what happened, I mean when I finally performed because he taught it to me, and it took me about 5 years before I had the courage, the intestinal fortitude, if you will, to perform it for him, because he was asking me many times throughout the years to perform, but I wasn't ready for him. And when I did, it was at Herb Zaro's home, Herb and Phyllis' home, and we were sitting around the table, and I had said to him, Renee, if you'd like me, I can do this thing for you. And that's all I said. He knew exactly what I meant, so he says, yes, please do it. And I did it, and everyone who was there, Mayor Yedid, Kemi, Ron Wool, Herb, of course, and it was about 6 or 7 Phyllis of us around the table had seen me perform before, and it was really recorded. And Renee was so emotional about this thing, he just started to weep, tears of joy, and it was fantastic. It was a great moment in my life.
What made you finally decide, all right, I'm ready to show this to him now?
He had been bugging me for about 5 or 6 years about it, and I didn't feel ready for him. I was doing performance for lay people, and he had heard about it, and I performed it at a few magic conventions, and he had heard about it, but he wanted to see me do it, and I just didn't feel comfortable until that day. And once he did it, and I got over that hump, so to speak, it was a great experience, and he was very appreciative, and he felt that he was so happy that someone else was carrying something that he did.
It's awesome. You do a fantastic job. In fact, I want to talk to you about Pure Magic.
Okay.
Now, Pure Magic is the show that you're doing at the Metropolitan House in New York City.
In the Metropolitan Room.
Metropolitan Room.
Right, on 34 West 22nd Street in Manhattan, which is a great jazz venue. I'm actually the first magician to perform there. Okay. Usually it's a singers venue, but the owner, Chris Mazzilli, had seen me work at the Lincoln Room 2 years ago, and he loved the show. And he came up and he approached me after the show and said, Eric, I really like to come to my room. I'd like to meet you there. And it's a great room. It's a wonderful room because it's like, you've been there.
Yeah,
and it's like a 1940s jazz club. With booths in the back and tables, and they serve drinks and everything. So it was a different venue for me because the other show that I did, which was an evening of intimate magic with Eric DeCamps, was a parlor show.
Right.
More of a parlor show, a 90-minute show. This was something that I had to then condense, edit, bring it down to about 70 minutes, because that's usually what a cabaret show is.
God, I saw your last run there. It was absolutely fantastic. It's such a beautiful, intimate setting that really brings the close-up magic a little bit more personal. It's really great. Now, you've also worked with Bob Fitch on this, correct?
Bob actually directed me. He was here tonight at this banquet, and it's a trip. I mean, Bob just has a different approach. I knew that I had to do these 2 shows. I needed some outside direction, because I've always directed myself, and I've had friends that would comment and we worked with each other, but I really needed someone to focus on the first show, and an evening of intimate magic with Eric DeCamps. I had Steve Chiflo directing me, and he's a wonderful musician, he's an actor, he's been doing acting for a long time, he's a great guy, and I was his first teacher in there. And it was great because it was Prince Corsaro position, because now he was teaching me, I mean, he was directing me, so it was a lot of fun. Then for this last show, I was fortunate enough to get Bob Fitch to work with me, and that was an experience because he taught me so much about theater, so much about getting the preparation, to speak better, communicating, and that's really what he's taught me.
Bringing more of a theatrical feel to the magic itself.
And communicating, because if people don't understand you, they don't know what's going on.
Absolutely.
Magic, so it's very important to be direct and to make sure they understand what you're doing. And in magic, you really need people to pay attention to what you're doing, especially when you're doing the type of work that we do, which is a lot of talking and interaction with the live audience. So you've got to make sure you're very, very clear. So that was something that we worked on very hard, and also have a tendency of being very wordy, so we had to edit that down. So that was a big.
That's awesome. That's really great. The next run of this starts on
November 9th, and it runs to the end of the year until December 28th. It's an 8-week run. We're going through the holidays. It will be on Sundays, Sunday afternoon matinees at 4 p.m. at the Metropolitan Room, located at 34 West 22nd Street.
And if people want to get more information about this or tickets, they can go to
EricDeCamps.com,
right?
Or you can pull the Metropolitan Room in New York. I'll give you the number right now. Look at this. It says, if I can read it on a card, it's 212-206-0440.
All right, excellent. Thank you. And we're going to take a couple seconds right now. Eric's going to set up, and we're going to watch some of Eric's awesome magic. Let's check it out.
Okay.
Okay, I hope you guys are in for a treat right now. We have Eric DeCamps doing some awesome magic. Eric,
okay,
please.
Cool. Oh, what's this? You see that? Let me just make this a little bit larger for you. You can see. I don't know if you can see that. There's some salt left over, and there it is. I'll make it a little bit larger, easier for you to see. That you can check it out. Make sure it's solid and it's real.
Yep.
Now, a lot of people don't realize that if I were to take this and give it a little squeeze like this, it does this. It disappears, goes up my sleeve, down my shoulder, and lands right here in my jacket pocket.
Very good.
Now that's of course one. If I do this right, oops, excuse me. If I do this right, I like to do a tribute to the man that many consider to be the greatest mind of the 20th century, Albert Einstein, whose studies and research inspired the splitting of the atom. And inspired by that, I can take this and give a little squeeze and actually split this into two. Yes, indeed, two. Now, David, one is a little larger than the other. Which one looks larger to you?
That one.
That one, I think you're right. If I can take it, I can split that and get now three. But remember, if I take this, give a little squeeze, it does one of these, disappears from here, goes up the sleeve, down the shoulders, and lands right here, back in my pocket. Now this next sequence has fooled both mathematicians and physicists alike.
Okay.
So I'm going to do this in slow motion for you. Watch. That's one. And we take that one. That's two. This one here into the pocket. Now, David, logically speaking, how many should it leave here in my hand?
Two.
Two. Some people would say two. You're right. That would be logical. But this is what drives both mathematicians and physicists crazy, because it leaves me with one, two, and, of course, got it? All three. Like that. Here, I'll tell you. I'll do it one more time. Even though I wasn't asked, I'll do it again. Look, we take one, two. This one here goes into the pocket. Now, logically speaking, once again, how many does it leave here?
Logically, two.
Two. Some people say two, some people say three, some people say one. I say absolutely none, because easy come, easy go.
That's absolutely incredible.
Awesome.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you very much. That's Eric DeCamps being awesome. Check him out. Pure Magic at ericdecamps.com. Now it's your turn. It'll be awesome.